Originally, what was going on with Columbus is this was sort of a no man's land between the Chickasaw, Choctaw, and Creek Indian nations. And that even went back to the time of DeSoto. He came through here the late fall, early December of 1540. John Pitchlynn was the first person to move into this area. He was a sub-Indian agent, U.S. interpreter to the Choctaw Indians appointed by George Washington. He moved to Plymouth Bluff across the Tombigbee from Columbus in 1810. And from there, that seems to be the foundation of Columbus. In 1817, Andrew Jackson wanted a shortcut to New Orleans from Nashville. So he constructed a road, or had a road surveyed, to go straight from Nashville to New Orleans. The survey line crossed the Tombigbee at what became Columbus, and that was the reason for the founding of Columbus. In Columbus's early days, one of the most significant things was in 1821, Franklin Academy was established. It was the first free school in the state of Mississippi and one of the first free public schools in the United States. We find that by 1825, William Cock, who is president of the trustees of the school, is corresponding with his friend in Virginia, Thomas Jefferson, about what curriculum is offered and what they should be doing with students. One of the most important developments in Columbus occurred in 1822. In that year, the cotton plant, which was a steamboat, came upriver from Mobile and docked at Columbus. That opened the real highway to the world for Columbus, which was the Tombigbee River. Civil War came. Columbus was a hospital center and a manufacturing center, and as such, it was never really attacked with the intent of burning the town, and the hospital center provided a basis for National Memorial Day. There was Augusta Sykes, whose husband had been killed in the Civil War, and her brother-in-law had been killed. And when the ladies were meeting to decorate graves, she said, "Wait a minute. At the hospitals here, both Union and Confederate soldiers died." And she said, "They're both buried in the local cemetery. How can we expect for people in the North to care for the graves of our husbands, our brothers, our loved ones, our sons, if we don't try to heal the wounds and do that here?" And so the ladies here decided that the memorial service would be for both the Confederate and the Union dead buried here. Columbus was the only place, though, that for at least 10 years only placed flowers on the graves of all soldiers from both sides. Columbus was never attacked, so it basically is intact. There are over 625 structures still in Columbus that are listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The Southside Historic District is one of the largest historic districts in the country for the number of structures that are there on the National Register. Economically, Columbus really boomed. There actually was an industrial base here from before the Civil War, from the 1840s. Even back further than that, there's an Air Force base that has been here since 1942 and has played a major role in the town's economic development and stability. One of the things that has just ended here was the 75th annual Columbus Pilgrimage. And it's interesting, that started out as just a tour of the grand southern antebellum mansions with the ladies in hoop skirts showing the houses. And that has evolved to more fully show what the history of the community is. Several of the houses have descendants of the slaves who were there coming to the houses and talking about what their life had been like, what was going on with them and more fully encompassing a broad picture of what life was like. The real change in Columbus history is in looking at the Columbus pilgrimage 75 years ago. You see it focused on the Confederacy, on the Old South. Now the history focuses on the entire community, on both the contributions and unsavory things that everybody has done, but it all comes together to make a history of the community and to show what the community really was. And it does wonders now for pulling the community together. Everybody's contributed in some shape, form, or fashion, and it's important to show everybody that their ancestors played an important role here.